Anyway, the point is, I've never done anything to anybody. It's bullshit. They're conducting experiments on totally innocent people that before they even come out of the womb. Okay? They bashed my head in before I was even born. Okay, moving on. When I was in junior high, I moved out of my mother's house because my stepfather was doing really extremely fucking psychotic, abusive things to me. I freaked out. I went to live with my dad and my stepmother. My dad was never there. My dad was away from home. Like I said, he worked for the federal government. He was away from home 80% of the time. When I was growing up, he was away from home 80% of the time, and maybe even more. For work. He was gone for work. Nobody's helping me. So I hope to God that you guys will take this story, those of you that are listening, those of you who are taking it serious, those of you that know you've been doing the investigations, you know for a fact that what I'm saying is being corroborated by other victims. Those of you that are serious, you're going to do something, you know what to do, because I can tell you right now, I have no freaking idea how to handle this. The only thing I know to do is to tell people. That's the only thing I know, is to pray and pray that Jesus is going to help me get this information out, because I have absolutely no idea how to fight this thing. I do not even know who these people are. I don't know why they're doing it. I don't know how it's even possible for people to be so evil as they are. But all I know to do is that I have to tell you. I have to tell people. Okay, junior high, I went to live with my dad. My stepmother abused me psychologically. She told all kinds of lies about me. She tried to convince my dad that I was schizophrenic when I was a teenager. And this is before I ever even started complaining about anything. When I was a teenager, I didn't even talk about the weird shadows that went through yard. I don't think I even talked about that when I was a teenager because I was still trying to block it out. My stepfather wrote this really weird letter to me when I moved out. I think I tore it up and threw it away. I don't know. It was really weird. And I remember she, had my dad come in and she made me sit at the kitchen table and she asked me a bunch of really, really embarrassing questions that I didn't want to answer, and I just wanted to get out of the room as fast as I could. But that woman was extremely abusive to me from the time I was 13 until I was 18. I wanted to get out of that house as fast as I could. She was trying to convince my dad that his sister was schizophrenic. My aunt was also, my father grew up in New Mexico, so my aunt was also, my father's sister was also from New Mexico as well, but for some reason she was living in Alaska when I was a toddler, and I remembered her. I loved her. She was super nice. Well, she died when I don't remember how old I was. I was young. And she died, and I was just told that she died of alcoholism or something like that. However, my mother later told me that she had gotten phone calls from my aunt, or that she had spoken to my aunt on different occasions, and that my aunt was talking about really weird things that were going on. And my mother was just like, I'm not going to listen to her. She's crazy. Because that's how my mom is. My mom is totally obedient to the Jehovah's Witnesses. I mean, she is a little slave. It's sad. It is, in fact, it's worse than sad. It is the most terrifying thing it's terrifying how obedient my mother is to these demons. She's obedient to these people like they're gods or something. And she thinks that she works for Jesus. She thinks that she's working for God when she goes and knocks on people's doors and has Bible studies with them. I'm going to tell you this about Jehovah's Witnesses right now. I suspect that they target people that they are going and knocking on their doors. They don't tell people like my mom, who are like innocent little lambs. Really, she is an innocent little lamb who doesn't have a clue, but she's obedient to them. They use people like that to target and bring in people like me who are possible mind control victims, and they use events that are happening in their lives, and then they'll go and then they'll do these things to these people in their own homes like send them dreams or whatever, possibly, I don't really know, this is just an idea, possibly send them dreams or whatever, and then they'll make a watchtower or an awake, which is their publications, and then they'll make the watchtower and the awake about the things that they sent to their dreams, and then they'll have everybody go and knock on people's doors to try to sell their magazines. And then people will be like, oh, I had a dream about that. And then that's how they suck people into their religion. They are evil. I'm telling you, they are Masonic organization, and they are conducting mind control experiments. My brother and my mother are both hardcore Jehovah's Witnesses, totally stuck in that religion, completely mind controlled. Unbelievable how mind controlled they are. And they will do things like they will revert to childish behaviors at times. It's frightening for me. It's frightening for me to have to deal with that, because this is my brother. He's a lot older than me. He's like 11 years older than me. All my brothers and sisters are a lot older than me. I was an accident, supposedly. My mom claims that she was on birth control when she got pregnant with me, and she says that my father was using condoms. Not only that, she said he wasn't even home hardly at all, suspected that he may have already been having an affair. She says that my father was like, no, you are not going to have this baby, you need to get an abortion. I was not supposed to be born. My mother was on birth control, my father was using condoms, if they even did do it. So how the hell my mother got pregnant with me, I do not know. Okay. I'm trying to do this as fast as I can. I don't want to get into a lot of details about stuff that I don't think even matters. So let's just skip to the point where, okay, well, my aunt died, and one thing that I do want to mention is that possibly my aunt, my father's sister, possibly was working for the government. I think she was, but I don't, like I said, I was a toddler at the time, so I don't know what she was doing for the government. Okay, so she died after she had been saying that weird things were going on. She told my mom that weird things were going on. Of course, my mom didn't listen to her, and she died shortly after that. Okay. When I was in my teen years, my stepmother started telling me that I should write down my dreams. Why she did that, I do not know, and I do not care, but I do think that you need to know that these people infiltrated my family in order to weaken my family, possibly. They're doing mind control experiments, and they needed to have their own doctors. By the way, she had a bachelor's degree in psychology. They needed to have their own doctors and military personnel in the family itself. They infiltrated my family, period. I know they did. So when I was a teenager, she started introducing these ideas of reincarnation and stuff like that to me. I have no idea why. But one of the things she wanted me to do was to write down my dreams. And I did. I started writing down my dreams. And I found that many of the dreams that I wrote down during my teen years came true later in my life. For example, one of the dreams I had was of a guy that when I was in junior high school, he was like this, he was a little skinny dude who was kind of annoying, and, he would like, pull your hair on the bus or something. He was kind of like that, just junior high type typical behavior. But I had this dream when I was in junior high that he was this super sensitive, and he came to me and he said, oh, your boyfriend's such a jerk, you deserve so much better, which I thought was really weird because I couldn't imagine this kid being sensitive like that. Well, when I was a senior in high school, that incident happened. It did happen. And by that time, he was a totally different person. I mean, he was this, and he still is today. I mean, this super nice guy. Anyway, I dreamt of that event before it happened. Another event that I dreamt of when I was in my teen years, I dreamt that I was doing a show and my dress fell off while I was doing the show, and I had specific dreams about, my dream was specific, it had certain parts of it. Well, that did happen when I worked on the cruise ship. I worked on a cruise ship later in life, when that happened, I did have an incident when I was doing the show at one point where my skirt was not fastened properly and it came off while I was doing the show. There were other specific things that were in my dream, and I wrote the dream down. So I have the dream journal. I know that I had that dream because I wrote it down. I have record of it, and I know for a fact that that incident did happen while I was on the cruise ship, and that I dreamt of that incident when I was a teenager. I can't really think of anything right now I need to mention as far as, other than the fact that my stepmother was putting me through this psychological horrific ordeal where she was like raping me psychologically, and I would have to go in the living room and she would like interrogate me for hours, and it was like forced to do that. And then she would lie. She was trying to say, I remember one specific lie she told. She said that, I remember that when I first moved into the house, she was very specific. Like, she screamed at me and she was like, I do not want you to live here. But then, like, when my dad came home, because my dad was gone all the time, she would all of a sudden get so nice, and it was like, oh, and she would say that she loved me, and it was creepy. It was really scary. But I just remember this one incident when I first moved into the house. She was like, I don't want you here. She was a witch, I'm telling you. She really is, like, evil. I folded her clothes. Like, I was doing my laundry, and her clothes were in the dryer, and I folded her clothes for her. I was a teenager. I was like 14. I folded her clothes for her because I thought that was what I was supposed to do. She went in, took her clothes, and I don't remember specifically if she dumped her clothes on the floor or what, but she said that I dumped her clothes on the floor, when the fact was I folded her clothes and set them on the top of the dryer. And I know for a fact that nobody else did anything to her clothes. She lied about it. Okay, so that's just one example of the stuff that she would do to discredit me to my family, tell lies about me to my family. That is the reason that my family does not talk to me. It is partially because of her, because of the lies that she has told about me. Because for exactly that reason, I believe she is part of this project that is conducting mind control on my family. And that is the reason that she is telling these lies to my family about me and to other people, because she wants to discredit me, because she knows that I'm going to tell people what's going on. And you're damn right I'm going to tell people what's going on. I'm not going to make this video toward the gang stalkers and the evil people. I'm making this video for the people who are going to take action against these people that are taking over our government. They are taking over people's families. They targeted my family possibly because my father worked for the federal government. A lot of these targeted individuals are family members of people that work for the government. I have a strong family. My brothers are strong people and good people. They have strong morals. All of the people in my family that are my genetic family, my mother, my father, my brothers, my sister, everybody. These people, they are moral people. And I believe possibly my family was targeted and split up and used on government experiments because they suspected that we were a possible threat to them taking over the government. And I've heard other people say that they are in fact targeting future leaders and future people that are strong, that have the possibility to overthrow their future plans for taking over our government.